They say India was poor before the British came. They gave you railways, law, and civilization. Bro, you think colonization was a charity? You rob my house, kill my family, and then expect a thank you for installing a door? Today, we are doing what the history books are scared of. We are flipping the biggest scam in global history. What if India was never colonized? What if 200 years of looting, bloodshed, and white savior gaslighting never happened? Let's Uno reverse colonization and burn some trolls with real facts and savage truth. You have heard it all before. British gave you English, they united India, India was poor anyway, I call it. Before the British came, India wasn't a poor country. It was literally the richest civilization on earth. Yes, 1700s India made up 24% of world's GDP. Yes, 24. That's more than the US and Europe combined today. It was a global hub for textiles, steel, spices, jewels, astronomy, medicine, math, you'll name it. India was so poor that the richest empire in Europe decided to invade it for centuries. Make it make sense. Colonization was not a visit, it was a violent, systematic loot. They drained more than $45 trillion from India, and that's not Twitter stats. That's a 2020 study by Utsa Patnaik, published by Columbia University. They broke industries, burned looms, cut thumbs off weavers in Bengal, dumped Indian goods into rivers to protect British factories. They caused famine after famine, 1876 to 78, 10 million Indians dead. 1943 Bengal famine, 3 million dead. Churchill was too busy feeding British troops and exporting rice, but sure, he is a hero. India wasn't divided until the British played religious, caste, and ethnic politics. They actively created communal tension so people wouldn't unite against them. You call it partition, I call it political arson. They lit the fire and left us burning. Yes, they built railways to extract goods, not to empower people. Yes, they brought English to create brown clerks, not thinkers. Yes, they gave you law, but not justice, just colonizer control. It's like punching someone in the face and saying, at least now you know how to block. Let's imagine, no East India Company, no 200 years of loot, no British textbooks glorifying Queen Victoria for theft. Number 1. India becomes a global superpower. Without colonization, India's GDP keeps booming. Mughal plus Maratha empires evolved into modern federal governance. Science and tech continue to grow. Remember, ancient Indians figured out zero, surgery, astronomy way before Europeans stopped burning witches. If India invented zero, the British made sure our economy matched it. Modern India would likely be first to launch satellites, leading in manufacturing, design, education, possibly the global hub of AI, medicine, and tech. Imagine Bengaluru becoming what Silicon Valley is today. In 1890, Indian cities would rival global capitals: Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta, Madras, global megacities, without slums created by forced urban poverty. Clean transport, global education hubs, metro networks built for people, not resource exports. Indian brands dominate. Tata instead of Ford, Ayurvedic pharma instead of big pharma. Yoga isn't a Western flex, it's a global Indian empire. Instead of wearing Nike, the world would be wearing Nehru sneakers. Language and culture stays rich, not erased. Sanskrit, Tamil, Urdu, and Persian dominate academia. India has its own literature, not Shakespeare, and Dickens forced down our throats. Imagine an Indian Netflix where the West watches Premchand like we binge Peaky Blinders. Without British divide and rule, India likely stays united. No partition in 1947. No million deaths. Pakistan and Bangladesh could have been part of one secular powerhouse. Instead of fighting over borders, we would be fighting who makes the best biryani. And after all this, India would be rich enough to colonize Britain back. And you know what? We still wouldn't. We have standards. But the British gave you trains. Yes, to steal cotton faster. They gave you law to jail freedom fighters. They bought modernity. No bro, they brought loot, lies, and death certificates. Let's talk receipts. UK's economy boomed only after India was colonized. British museums are still filled with Indian artifacts. Kohinoor is still sitting on their royal crown like a blood-stained souvenir. And what's hilarious? People from colonizer countries now mock Indians for having accents they forced on us, being poor because they looted us, migrating to their countries after they destroyed ours. You broke my window, stole my wallet, and now complain that I am standing outside your house? Try harder, colonizer. And yet, we are here. India survived, thrived, and now your CEOs are Indian. Your doctors are Indian. Your Google searches, Indian. Your spices, food addiction, you're welcome. So, what if India was never colonized? The West would have never become rich. The Industrial Revolution might have been delayed by decades. Millions of Indian lives would have been saved. We might have world peace and flying chappals powered by Ayurveda. And India wasn't gifted independence. We took it back. And now we are building everything from scratch, despite the trauma, the blood, and the burn marks. To every troll who says British civilized India, buddy, we were doing surgery when you all thought tomatoes were poisonous. So sit down, drink some haldi milk. And remember, we didn't need colonizers, they needed us. That's all for today's video. Please suggest the next topics in the comments down below and tell me about the video how you felt.